That was basically you guys when you came into League of Legends at first. You and a couple of other teams at the time were thought to be the dumb money. And then I tell you what, mate, your team in LCS was an example of a team where it had big names, but the way it was put together wasn't good. Like the players didn't fit together. They even had bad clashing personalities. And in fact, I mean, some people will never even know some of the crazy stories of some of the players and what they did in that team because like it was outrageous shit. Don't worry about it. You don't want to, mate. But anyway, the fact that they were relegated wasn't a surprise to me, put it that way. So like as you say, this was like kind of the big first misstep, right? Was coming into League in that regard. What do you think you learned from the League experience and why haven't you re-entered? Because I see you in all these other franchise leagues. I mean, listen, if I wanted to be the guy with the charts and the graphs, in theory, League at the moment's the most surefire bet, you know. It doesn't maybe have the massive upside, but it's got the nice viewership, it's got the established game, it's not even as expensive to get in as Overwatch. You know, for a lot of people, they think that that's kind of the safer place. So what do you think with the initial League period was like, and why aren't you in LCS now?
Yeah, okay. It's a great question because I think it sums up everything that, you know, where we came from and what we're about now. So it was a hobby when we started the business, right? We bought the other team, I can't remember, Coast or whatever, for like $900,000 or something, $1 million. And it was myself, Shaq, and Mark Masteroff. And we were like, let's try and learn. Let's figure this thing out. And we had a guy running it, Gerard Kelly, and trusted him to do a bunch of stuff. And gosh, he just ran this thing.
He's a bit of a wild guy, put that way.
He's an interesting character, man. And it's not usually what I do. Like if I do anything, I just do it myself. But I had other jobs and stuff, and I loved the space, and I wanted to learn. And my kids were super into it. And honestly, it was just a way for me to get closer to my kids and have a shared experience. Because my kids don't like basketball, God forbid. They don't like baseball. It was, you know, soccer killed me, but they don't. And so I wanted to learn, you know, gaming and be a better dad. And that's how we got started. And Gerard, whatever, you know, ran it into the ground and all over the place. And we got relegated. And I learned a ton. And I talked to Mark and Shaquille, another one of our owners, Jeff Glass, my business partner. And we decided instead of calling it a day, I said, let's double down. Let's get into other games. Let's learn and figure this thing out and grow a brand. Because, you know, we had fun, and we did. And we got into Rocket League and Counter-Strike and Smite, and we won a world championship right away in Smite. And our Rocket League team's always, you know, probably the best team ever, and it's always been good. Won the last world championship. And Counter-Strike was a labor of love, learning the community and trying to figure it out. And it really taught us sort of where we wanted to go and what we wanted to be. Now, when Overwatch came up for franchising, there was no franchising in League of Legends yet, right? They were talking about it. They came up right after. If I had to pick between the two at the time, I still probably would have picked Overwatch because we had the most popular Overwatch team in the world. Like we had Seagull and those guys, and that was what we were known for. Like we weren't known for League, really. We were known for being a failure in League. So from a brand perspective, and the game was good and people were watching, and if you had to make a choice, you probably would have made the same one, although definitely League was safer. And then getting into Call of Duty was a no-brainer because of Hector, and like instantly owning a community and having the most popular team in the world and a phenomenal, you know, friend and mentor was a no-brainer. But we've looked at League already. Like we were up for LCK franchise. We've been looking at that. There are teams that you could probably buy, which I'm sure you know, on the, you know, for North America.
Sure.
So I would like to get back in League. Having 3 franchise teams is a lot of money, though. Right.
Is there a logic though? Like, I mean, you kind of allude to it there. Like, it's about things like what are we about as a company, and what do we enjoy? What games are we interested in? Because I know some of the owners out there. I won't mention names, but I've had some of them who are very established esports owners who told me, "Look, I can just go and get investors for whatever I need. So if I tell them I've got a franchise league, it's 10 million, 20 million, whatever, I can get the investors to do that." So they basically told me we can be in as many franchise leagues as we want. Like again, fans think it's like your own money you're spending. You know, you can go to someone and present the proposal, obviously. Is there a reason why you wouldn't just try and be in all the leagues and kind of like hedge your bets, as it were, and see which one takes off?
One, I don't believe you can just snap your fingers and raise money, especially now. I mean, you got to be kidding me. 2, you got to show that they work, right? The leagues don't work yet. No one's making money.
Sure.
Their enterprise value is up and down. It's only as good as someone wants to pay for it. It's also a question of scaling your operations and your business. You know, it's big thought about how being when our name leaked that we were invited to apply for the LCK. We got great response, and a bunch of the guys in our org were like, see, people want us to do this. I was like, yeah, but like, think about, are we going to be able to be, an NRG level quality brand in Korea? Like, we don't even have a guy in Korea. Like, that's scaling the business in another direction, and it's taking time away from other things that we're doing. So I think we really want to be a North American brand first and foremost. And we do really well in Europe because of Fortnite, but it's somewhat of a distraction. And I think now what your comment about, snapping your fingers and raising money is dead. We're seeing a lot of orgs who can't raise money out there. There's the market's obviously terrible given COVID, the fact that people are going to show pretty rough years,
Sure.
No growth or down or losing sponsors. So, we're starting to see, if you're in if I can be nerdy for a second in the startup world, because I've always been a startup guy, I'll look at me and mobile, like the mobile space, right? You enter the space, you kind of think, oh, maybe I'm one of the only guys if you're early, and then you look up and there's like 100 other guys doing something somewhat similar, right? And then, but they start to get attention, and you start to get either revenue or an audience or whatever it is, and then people say, that's a hot space, right? Mobile's a hot space, artificial intelligence is a hot space, cloud computing is a hot space. And money comes in, yes. Right? Dumb money, smart money. And these guys, a whole bunch of people, and they get bigger and the valuations get too high. And then all the skeptics come in, and then you hit what they call the trough of despair, where, the bubble's off. You actually have to have a real business here. Sure. And you go down, and the poorly
managed. Is that where we are now?
Yeah, Echo Foxes go out. The other guys, they sell for nothing. Other guys can't raise money, right? They have a bad plan, you name it. And then there's this many, now. There was this many, now there's this many. And then you start to see them rise back up. And this is where you create your value here. Maybe there's 4 really valuable companies, or 10 or 3, whatever the industry can sustain. And with COVID, we went like this because the teams, these businesses aren't worthless by any stretch of imagination, but you have to have leadership and a real business plan and real revenue. And you're not just going to be like, hey, I want to go raise, it cost me $25 million, $30 million to buy a league team. And then I need $10 million to run a year. And, these guys at Liquid spend a ton. Their salaries are insane. So to compete, I need to raise $50 million. Oh yeah, that's going to just pop out of trees. No way.
Sure.